everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Montana Buck, and in today's video I sat down and I created this Christmas inspired glam for you guys. The whole theme behind today's look is really the dramatic red lipstick. As always, MAC Cosmetics comes through once again. Shout out to MAC for their incredible lipstick formulas. I am so in love with how this look turned out. This year, 2019, just in general, has been such an insane year for my family and I. In today's video, I get more in depth and in detail about some of the things that we've been through just even in the last week or two. So you guys will get a better understanding of what I mean when I say this year has been absolutely crazy. But without further ado, let's get into today's look. Starting with the Opal Highlight Banana Bright Face Primer. I'm just going to take a little bit of this onto my hands and rub it into the skin all over. I did go ahead and already apply my eyebrows, and I carved them out with a little bit of concealer, so I'm going to kind of be careful around this area. My skin starts to get kind of red when I first put this on. I think it's just all the blood flowing to my skin because I'm touching it. Next, we're going to go in with this foundation right here. This is my L'Oreal True Match Foundation in the shade N3. What I like to do is just put some of this on the back of my hand and then dot it on the skin. And then I'll go in with my beauty sponge and just blend it in throughout the whole entire face. Then we'll go in with a little bit of my Fix Plus and a clean beauty sponge. I did rinse this out underneath the sink and get it a little wet. Then I'll just spray some of that Fix Plus on there and begin blending our foundation into the skin. You guys, this has honestly been the craziest week that I've had out of the entire year of 2019. I don't like to talk about too many of the negative things that I go through because I feel that, you know, it's not always constructive to other people's lives, and I don't like to complain and just kind of tell you guys what's been going on the past few weeks. So the other day, this was probably like 5 or 6 days now, my family and I were all at home, just like a regular day, nothing too crazy. And my brother had been complaining that his shoulder was hurting, and you know, I thought maybe he pulled a muscle in his back or something. So I'm over here like rubbing hot cream on his shoulder, you know, telling him just lay down, take it easy, like it's gonna be okay. He was also complaining that his chest was hurting, and if your chest is hurting, I mean, you really don't want to mess around with something like that. It's kind of one of those things, like you definitely should probably go to the doctor if you're having chest pains, because you know that could be your heart. So we ended up taking him to the hospital that's right around the corner from my house, and they took chest x-rays immediately once we got in there, and they had informed us that he his lung had collapsed. I've never heard of something like that in my whole life. So as his older sister, you can imagine I'm freaking out. I'm like a mess at this point. I'm there, and they had these chest tubes in the side of his ribs, and it was very, very graphic. I don't want to get too much into that part, but it was really scary just for him and for my whole family, really. I mean, he's the only boy in the family, so us women were all freaking out like, oh, our boy, our boy. It's like a really scary and very intense time. Turns out that the doctors recommended him to have surgery, so they went in and they reattached the lung to the chest wall, and he's doing well, thank God. He's healing well, and he actually was able to come home 2 days ago. So he's been home with us right in time for Christmas, which is awesome. I'm so happy that he was able to be back here in time for Christmas. Really quick, I'm going in with my concealer. This is the ColourPop No Filter Concealer in the shade Medium 20. I'm just going to apply this in the areas where I would like some extra coverage, just to brighten and lighten some areas of the face. So I had got online and I started a prayer chain for my brother, and so many people came through on his behalf with prayers and well wishes, and it was honestly amazing. It really touched my heart to see how many people came through for us on that end. So I would just like to really quickly on here, if you're watching, thank you for praying for my brother. He is doing much better now, and I'm so thankful. So thankful. So thank you guys. If you know me, I love Christmas. It's my absolute favorite time of the year. I'm just so thankful to be surrounded by my family, and how incredible that truly is to have my brother home in time for the holidays and to know that we're all together. I mean, that's everything to me. My heart beats for my family. I'm going to set the concealer with a little bit of the Born This Way Ethereal Loose Translucent Setting Powder. This is by Too Faced. I'm absolutely loving this product in the year of 2019. So I'm just picking this up with a little Morphe M438 tapered blending brush. I've got some of that powder in the cap, and we're just gonna set the areas of the face that we laid our concealer down first. Next, we're gonna move on to bronzer. Here I have my Hoola Caramel Bronzer by Benefit Cosmetics. They still don't really have much of an explanation as to why this happens. They did say that it's very common in tall, skinny, white males. Why? I have no idea. That's completely beyond me. The only thing that I could maybe assume is that because he is very tall and skinny, you know, maybe the lung or the chest cavity is oblong, and so it's more prone to collapsing. I still don't understand why that's the case. You know, he's not a smoker. He doesn't vape. He right now is actually with his cousin. They're going to see the new Star Wars movie, which is so exciting. I've seen so many cute little memes surfacing social media lately with the baby Yoda. I think it's so cute. So I'm really happy for him that he's able to go and do that after having such a crazy last couple of weeks, like especially right before Christmas too. You know, this is supposed to be like the happiest time of the year, and it's been really scary, but you know, we all stayed really strong for him. I'm going in now with a little bit of a smaller brush with that same bronzer from Benefit, and I'm just going to contour the sides of my nose a little bit. Next, I'm going to go in with a little bit of a deeper and darker bronzer. This one here is by Milani Cosmetics. This is their baked bronzer in the shade 06 Golden. Picking this up on a little Revlon blush brush. This one is quite smaller. I'm just going to put this in the very upper portion of the hollows of the cheekbones just to create a deepening effect here and something like an ombre. I'm also going to take this up into the temples. I really like the soft effect that this gives when you go in with a medium tone bronzer all over and then deepen and darken it with a little bit of a darker shade. I think it creates a very beautiful depth. This looks much more put together when it's all said and done. So this is just a little trick that I like to do. And then just under the chin a little bit as well. Next, I'm picking up my contoured Morphe sponge in a little bit more of that loose powder from Too Faced. And we're just going to cut the jawline and press the sides of the nose. This is also going to help clean up any bronzer that I may have brought a little bit too low. And then whatever's left over on the sponge, I'll just press it into the sides. I did go ahead and pick up a little bit more because I didn't think I had enough on there. So just something like this. So we're looking a little crazy right now, but don't worry, it's gonna all come together in the end. While I go ahead and wait for the rest of my face to finish baking, I'm gonna zoom you guys in and we will begin working on the eyeshadow portion of today's look. We're gonna be dipping into this eyeshadow palette right here. This one is by Morphe Brushes in collaboration with Jaclyn Hill. This is their Ring the Alarm palette. The first shade I'm dipping into is this one here called Rush. So I'm going to begin buffing this from the outer corner as our transition shade, just to get us started and get the ball rolling on today's eye look. And I am taking this up a little higher than I normally would with a transition shade because we're going to be going in with quite a few different layers of color. We're going to go back into the palette and we're going to choose this shade here called Mugshot. And then I'm just going to apply it kind of same way that we did with the other shade, except we're going to keep this one mid-range, so we're not going to take it up quite as high as the first shade. I'm just taking a little bit more of a fluffier brush and going back in with that very first shade Rush, just to buff and blend out those edges to help them look more smooth. This is another palette in collaboration with Morphe brushes by Jaclyn Hill. I'm going in with one of these tapered brushes here. Choose this highlighting shade up here and pop this in the brow bone. And then back in with that fluffy brush just to blend in that brow bone highlight in with the transition shades. Picking up some more of that ColourPop concealer, I'm going to place some of it on the back of my hand, and then using a flat concealer brush, something like this, I'm going to dip this into the product and begin to cut the creases on both of our eyes. Now that we have both of our creases cut, I'm going to go back into this palette here and we're going to choose this gorgeous copper shade Boom on a little bit of a fluffy blending brush. You know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and apply this shade with my finger. I think it's going to look a lot better. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh my god. And then using my finger again, I'm going to dip into this golden shade here called On Camera. I'm just going to layer this just in the center of the lid, just to add a little bit of dimension. I love these two shadows layered on top of each other. They're so, so pretty. Just in the center. Dusting away all of that bakage, getting all the powder off, we're going to go ahead and pick up our clear brow gel and run this through the eyebrows. The reason I like to do this after removing the powder is because this brow gel really helps to remove any powder that may be setting on the brow hairs. So this is just going to take away that powdery look and really help all the hairs to set in place all day long. I really, really love this one. It's by e.l.f. It's $2. It's incredible. Quickly moving on to eyeliner, I'm picking up this one here by NYX. This is their Jumbo Eye Pencil in the shade Milk. This is really going to help just open those eyes up, help them look more awake, bright, and light. We're going to move back into that palette, and I want to pick up this shade here. This is the Mugshot shade. And I want to run this shade all the way from the outer corner of the lower lash line Okay, and then picking up a little bit of a smaller blending brush here, something like this one. We're going to dip into the darkest shade of the palette. This one's called Secret. I want to target this shade just on the very outer corner. I don't want to bring this color all the way in. This is going to help create sort of a baby doll eye effect and really open those eyes up that much more. And then picking up a big jumbo fluffy brush, something like this one, I'm just going to buff it all out together and help it to look more smooth. And then going back again with the other Jaclyn Hill palette, I want to pick up this very first highlighting shade. What I want to do with that one is I'm just going to pop it right on the inner corner of the eye just to really create a nice brightening effect. Ooh, girl. Yes. Gorgeous. Picking up an eyeliner here. This one's by NYX. This is their Slide On Liner in the shade Jet Black. I do believe this liner is waterproof, but I can't really read it. As you can see, it's very little. I've used it down into it's a stub. I do love this liner. It's cost effective. I can find it at quite a few different places, such as Ulta, Target. This is a great liner. So what I want to do with it is just go ahead and line the upper waterline and the lash line to prepare us for our winged liner so that we can later go in with mascara and false lashes. Okay, now we have our wings applied. They're very black and very dramatic, just how I love them. We're gonna go in with some mascara to prepare us for our false lashes. The mascara that we're going in with today is by NARS. This is their Climax Mascara. I'm loving this. If you guys have watched any of my previous videos, I've referenced this multiple times. I love how compatible it is with the false lashes. It creates a nice tacky base for the false lashes to adhere next to. So before we go ahead and apply our false lashes, let's put on some mascara. I like to start from the tip of the root of the lash. Or I'm sorry, not the tip of the root, the very tip of the lash. And then going from the root all the way to the tip. This is my favorite way to apply my mascara. I find that it's the most effective and it's the most lengthening way for me to apply my mascara for those lashes. Trying to talk while you apply mascara is, whew, it is a talent, so let me tell you. Same thing on the other side, starting from the tips. And from the roots all the way up. I also want to take a little bit of the mascara on the lower lash line, but instead of applying it from inner corner to outer corner, I just want to apply a little bit on the outer corner because I do want to stick with that very like doll-like essential look, and this will help to keep the eyes very rounded and very open. I just tap it a few times. Get those lashes in place. Mascara is completed. I'm going to give it about a minute or two to let the mascara formula dry down a little bit, and then we will go ahead and pick up our lashes and glue these bad boys on. The eyelashes that will be going in for today's look are the style Opulent by the brand Allure. As you can see, these top two pairs have been completely unused. I've reworn the bottom two just a couple times now, so they have taken form. They've adhered to the natural shape of my eye, so they're very comfortable. These are one of my favorite. Am I orange? One second. Okay, much better. They have adhered to the natural shape of my eye. I do love these lashes because the band on them is so thin, and the actual hairs on the lashes themselves are so wispy, but they're still very voluminous and dramatic, so you can wear them with an intense dramatic eye look, or you can wear them with something that's a little bit more simple and toned down. For today's look, we are going a little more dramatic as it is Christmas, and I'm certainly going all out. If you know me, you know what the deal is. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on these lashes. We're going to let it dry down for a couple minutes, get nice and tacky, and then I will show you how we apply them. These are such a pretty lash. And then I'll go ahead and show you guys a little secret. I like to take my liquid eyeliner, and what I'll do is just run a quick line over on top of that lash band just to keep everything super dark, super in place, and to also cover up any glue that might be peeking through. This is just like one of my little secrets. Shh. Next, we're going to be moving into my absolute favorite portion of today's look, which would be lips. I am going to be working with 3 different tools for my lipstick because we are working with such a dark, intense red. I'm kind of a little bit of a nutcase when it comes to my lipstick and the lining of it, and you know, I don't want it to be too overlined. I don't want it to be too messy looking. If I was working with a nude lipstick, I definitely would not be using so many brushes because it's kind of hard to mess up nude lipstick. But for today's red lips, I'm going to go in with this brush. This is the M443 by Morphe. It looks like this. It's one of their lip defining brushes. And then I do have another one here. I don't know if this one's by MAC Cosmetics or if it's by Revlon, which is a drugstore brand, but it's kind of a similar style brush. I do believe that this was intended for eyeliner, but we are going to be using it for lipstick. And then I have another lip defining brush here. This would be our third and final brush. This one is an angled brush. It looks something like this. I'm going to be using this to carve and cut out the lipstick as well. Now, I bet you guys are wondering what lipstick we're going to be using today. We're going to be using 2 different reds. They're both by MAC Cosmetics. The first one I have here is Ruby Woo. This is part of the Viva Glam collection. As you can see, mine's a little bit busted. I love this red lipstick. It's very much loved and used by me, so it is a little messed up, but it doesn't matter. It still works the same. The second red lipstick that we'll be going in with today is also by MAC Cosmetics. This is in the shade Deep Love. This is a beautiful deep burgundy lipstick. So picking up that first brush here, the one that I didn't know if it was from MAC or if it was from Revlon, but this is an eyeliner brush. I'm going to just kind of brush it onto the bristles straight on like this. These 2 reds together are just like, there's literally nothing like this combination. It is so beautiful. It looks so velvety, like, girl, wow. Next, I'm going to pick up some concealer, and we're just going to clean up the outside of the lipstick using the angled brush. So I'm just going to dip the angled brush into that concealer, and then we'll just run it all the way around the lips to make sure that the color is extra sharp, super defined, and like I said, guys, I'm kind of a little bit of a nutcase about my red lips, so we're just going to make it as perfect as it can possibly be. I love the way that this red lip has turned out. It's exactly what I saw in my brain. Whew. It's so vibrant and bold and velvety. I love it so much. So now that we're done with our lipsticks, we can move on to highlighter. I'm going to go ahead and pick up this one here by Becca Cosmetics. This is their Shimmering Skin Perfector in the shade Opal. I'm going to apply this on the high points of the cheekbones. I also want to take some of this on the tip of the nose, as well as the center in between the brows, a little bit lower between the brows. Also want to create some balance between the cheekbones, so we're going to bring some of this up into the forehead. I also want to drag a little bit of this across the Cupid's bow, being very careful because I don't want to create the lipstick to make it look sparkly or shimmery. I want to keep that super velvety look going on. And then just a dash across the chin. Then, to make sure that our highlight is extra beaming, I'm picking up a little bit of that Fix Plus, and we're just going to spritz the whole entire face. And then picking up a Real Technique sponge, I'm going to lightly press the Fix Plus on top of the highlight, just pressing it into the skin. I find that this technique, when going in with some Fix Plus and then topping it with the sponge, this can really help the highlight to look less texturized. I know that if you have textured skin, sometimes the highlight can really accentuate that texture, which is it's not what we want. So a sponge can really help it to be pressed into the pores more so that the texture doesn't show up as much. Really quick off camera, I'm gonna go finish my hair and we will be right back. Alrighty guys, that's all for today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed spending some time with me. I hope that you guys are going to have a very Merry Christmas. I know that this time of year can be a very painful time for so many of us. So I do really quickly, before I end today's video, I do want to share something with you guys. Here I have 2 notebooks. In each of the notebooks, I have gone through every single day, and I've just written down tons of things that I'm thankful for and that I'm grateful for, even just little highlights to my day. What I'll do is I'll go back in these notebooks and I will sit down and take some time to read some of the highlights of my month or 6 months ago, and just remind myself of my blessings and the things that I am thankful for. Obviously, this isn't a one-step solution to make your pain go away, but this is something that has personally helped me, and I think that if it could help any of you guys, then I would definitely want to be open and honest enough to share this with you guys. So yeah, I've just written down the date, the most important thing of that day. Like up in the corner I'll write that I went to work, or that I rested this day, or this day I cleaned. Yeah, just really helps me to stay grounded and to try to stay positive and hopeful and full of joy. So I really am just wishing you guys a beautiful Merry Christmas. My heart is with every single one of you guys who are going through things right now. The people who are just struggling this time of year. I really hope that you know my heart while I'm sharing about my gratitude practice, or GP, which is what I call it. Anywho, I really hope that you guys enjoyed watching today's video. I hope that it inspired you to create your own Christmas look, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Alright guys, I love you. Mwah! Bye. Merry Christmas!